love the city of Detroit and love what I do now.
It's where I'm from, born and raised. I love it here.
It's the grit, it's the opulence, it's all of that.
Create something or somebody go tell you what to do.
You gotta bet on yourself.
This is Container on the Metro. I'm Tia Graham. This series highlights Detroit creatives exploring their worlds through community and artistry. This episode, we'll say what up, though, to La Cecille.
Cecille, Cecille, that's me. Okay.
Morgan Hutson, also known as La Cecille, is an actress, singer, songwriter, producer, and dancer who draws from her ancestral knowledge when creating music. From R&B to electronic, the genres she chooses reflect her multi-disciplinary style. La Cecille has been singing her whole life, listening and learning from Detroit's greats. And just like her mentors and teachers, Detroit is an important character in her story. For most of us, growing up in Detroit almost feels magical. And for La Cecille, it was just that. Growing up in the city of Detroit, what was it like for you?
Kind of fantastical in the sense that, we've been the blackest city in America for a while. At least that's what they said. And I believe it because, my first teacher was a black pianist. So he used to play for us in pre-K. And, I'm getting this crazy input of music at a young age. And he was actually my first piano teacher. And then, all the way up to the government, even though it's corrupt at times. But you just see all these very powerful black figures and you just kind of realize what's possible.
What part of the city did you grow up in?
I'm a West Sider.
Okay.
Yep. So Warwick and Schoolcraft, 7 in Livernois, all those things. Shout out Grandmont Rosedale. Shout out Bagley community. There, but went to school obviously on the east side. Yes. Well, the campus I went to for Cornerstone was Nevada. And then I ended up going to high school in Grosse Pointe. But I did spend most of my elementary, middle school tenure at Bates Academy. So shout out to Bagley again and Green Lawn and everything. And again, I think there was just the standard of excellence all around, even musically. Ursula Bird, amazing music teacher.
And that's so important. One of the things that I have been talking to with a few folks that we've been able to speak with during this container project is having that important foundation, whether it's your community, whether it's the village that raised you, whether it's mentors or teachers or whomever it may be. But Detroit is rich with those type of stories. So if you could just talk about how being surrounded by such musically inclined and talented folks throughout your elementary, middle school, and high school years helped to get to where you are today.
Yeah, I think it just really imbued within me this sense of just knowing that it's possible. It was never really a thing of I did have not even doubts, but just fear around committing to a life of artistry just because I also had this thought I love science and tech. So I wanted to be a pediatric neurosurgeon when I was young too. And yeah, we're not going to name that man who used to be influential. But, people read his book and were like, oh, my God. And I was like, my cousin is a pediatrician. And I was just like, okay, I'm seeing it in all angles. So I saw it that way and I wanted it that way because that was the easy way in my crazy little mind. This is why I'm an artist because what? That's not easy at all.
No.
And then just being surrounded by all these wonderful musicians Miss Bird, she would teach us these songs, but she would put her own spin on it. And I grew up knowing these songs, her version of Wade in the Water is still the best version I've ever heard. And it's the best version I've ever sung. And she would write music for us it was so generous. And I think the thing about growing up in Detroit is just because it was so abundant musically, and it has a history and a rich reputation of being musically abundant and just kind of abundant in general, a city of firsts. You just realize that you can. And then my dad, he loved music. My mom loved music. She wasn't a singer, but my grandmother was. And so she used to sing New York spirituals with this choir called the Earl Nelson Singers in Lansing. And my dad grew up playing. And he would always be like, baby, you could be the next Sarita Wright. Da, 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 da. As a child that had whistle tones. So he'd be, oh, man, Minnie Riperton, Sarita Wright, all these people, they all have connections to Detroit. And you just see it so clearly, it seems.
After high school, she moved to New York and attended university to study medicine and quickly figured out she did not want to be a doctor. She moved back to Detroit around 2016, and by 2017, she was a member of the collective Video 7, releasing some music and eventually released High Gloss, her first solo album under the name Super Cool Wicked in 2019. Outside of the studio, she's right at home in front of crowds, on stages of all sizes.
So my name is Cecille, for those of you who are new here. And for those of you who have been here, you may have known me as Super Cool Wicked. Let's go!
I had the chance to watch La Cecille perform live during a Container Takeover at the Love Building in Detroit.
I know that beauty is pain, but I want my life to be. They say that without the pain ain't no gain, so it may hurt a little to have it all. Please do not judge me for what I choose. Live my life differently than you let me breathe.
Watching her perform, you can tell she's in her element. La Cecille commands the stage and makes any space feel intimate.
Oh, you say, come fly with me. Thank you.
I was curious to know how she gets ready mentally.
Can you talk about how you get into that mode? Because right now, I think about Beyonce, of course, Sasha Fierce and who she is. Do you have that type of mentality when you're performing, or are you always you?
I'm a nut in a hut. I'll say that. But I do bridle it because you have to deal with the real world. And because you deal in the real world, I don't know. For me, it is a kind of hidden thing. Sometimes people are always like, if I'm at my job, they're like, I didn't know you sang. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't tell you that. Just because it comes with so much, and I am sensitive about it, and it's a big thing for me. So I keep it cute. And even Miss Bird, she was like, I didn't know you could sing like that. I came back after, middle school, and I sang for her. And she was like, girl, why didn't you tell me? So yeah, I kind of hide it. It is an alter ego. And I think it's because for me, the stage is a pedestal and it gives you permission. Like, it's not even on an egotistical thing. It's literally on kind of a practical level. Like, people have come to give their energy to listening. And then you have come to give your energy into producing, but also just like sharing what you've created and curated over time. And that gives you license to be free. Now, I do live my life a lot freer, I'm learning, than a lot of people. I can't help that. But again, when people tell you can do anything, you believe them. Facts. You believe them.
My name is Cecilia Hutson, and I am Morgan's mom. Morgan was singing since she came out of the womb. I mean, she sang so much as a child. We always in our household had music playing because my husband loved music a whole lot. So back then we had albums. So we had all kinds of albums and everything. And so we would always be playing music. Morgan would always be singing. And at that point, little kids sing and you just think it's so cute. But I would have friends that would come over and would ask Morgan to sing a song like around Christmas time or something like that. And they would tell me, oh, she's going to be a singer.
Morgan, a.k.a. La Cecille, grew up performing in choirs, never really taking the spotlight until she joined Mosaic Youth Theater of Detroit her senior year of high school. Mosaic Youth Theater is a nonprofit that encourages and supports young people in the city to pursue creative careers. This is when she began to blossom as a creative spirit.
When I think back of where she came to where she is now, I mean, it's so amazing to me when I go to one of her shows and to see how she commands the audience, how she just feels comfortable up there, how she just performs so well, and how the people in the audience receive her and love her. I mean, it's just a joy to me. I can't tell you how many times after a concert, people have come up to me and said, thank you so much for having Morgan. I'm like, wow, these people, I mean, it's so touching to me, but she is just really that person. She is a performer all the way.
My name is Zuleika Starr.
I
took the time it takes to heal, and now it's time to fly. Running across the virgin hills, in truth I live my life. Extension through primordial wings, ascension toward the sky. And atmospheric frequencies, my spirit keeps me high.
You're listening to Skydive, featuring Cecille Star off High Gloss from 2019. They were members of the music collective Video 7, and Cecille Star directed one of La Cecille's experimental musical performances called Negro Spiritual. The series is a narrative-driven performance rooted in Black American music traditions.
What I love about Cecille's work is she really is coming from the heart. She's using her deep cultural background and a tradition also of Black musical excellence. And she brings that into the present, and then she also brings this futuristic aspect to it. And I can say as a director, because I directed her in the latest iteration of Negro Spiritual, she was really a dream to work with as a director because she really has the ability to do anything as far as singing, acting, and dancing as well, and even acrobatics. So really I could throw anything her way, and able to bring honesty and heart and courage to the stage, and vulnerability and softness. She's really one of those people who is fearless in her work, and that also encourages you to be fearless as well. I would say she's my artistic partner in this world.
They're falling. They're falling. Like me. Like me. They're falling.
Negro Spiritual was the beginning of a new chapter. The one-woman show allowed La Cecille to come alive. It allowed her to release the version of herself known as Super Cool Wicked.
Yeah, I died. She died, and she's still a part of me, but she's like this beautiful ghost and this ancestor now that I carry with me while I can live my life as my true authentic self, which is Cecille, my middle name, which I held a little bit of like, oh, I don't like this name as a kid. And so it's like a reclamation on a lot of levels. And it's kind of been honorific to my mom, Cecilia, as well. So
Super Cool Wicked was possibly the younger version of you.
Exactly.
And now you've matured. And as we all mature, we learn things that we like and maybe want to shed about ourselves.
Yes.
What did you shed when she died, when she fell over and died?
Oof, when she fell over and died, Lord. Oh my God. I think sorry. No, I like that. Okay. I love you. I love you so much. Oh, that is such a hard question. It is more esoteric. I can't put it into words, really. But I know a lot is gone.
Yeah.
Like so much is gone. Like expectation of what success is in an artistic sense. Like my thought process is different because, what we typically see and determine as artistic musical success for singers is usually a lie. It's predicated on a lie. And I don't really enjoy lying at all. Like I love fantasy and storytelling, but stories and fantasies that last always have truth to them. And that's why they last. And I think for me, I don't necessarily think I was ever lying, but I think I was accepting things that didn't feel true to me. And that is also a lie. So I think for me, that expectation of like what success is shifted, and it's really just being honest and truthful and being able to do what you want, how you want it, instead of like being like, okay, well, I'll accept this thing, or I'll do this thing just so I can please somebody. No. Cecille is no. Cecille is also yes to self and to aligned opportunity.
To keep up with La Cecille, you can follow her on Instagram at Cecille Loves You. And you can listen to High Gloss on streaming platforms by searching Super Cool Wicked, all one word. Container is a project of the Love Building in Detroit in collaboration with WDET and supported by the Gilbert Family Foundation. This series is produced by Connor Anderson, Jose Yanis, and me, Tia Graham. Original music is by Sam Bobian, audio editing by Connor Anderson, and our executive producer is David Lyons. To hear new episodes every Monday, subscribe to the Metro's podcast feed on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Learn more at WDET.org/container.